Back at Austria, and well, right underneath us in the grandstand, the crowd, I'm afraid, are booing. They do not like this at all. Montoya comes over to congratulate Rubens Barrichello, who finishes second. He'd done everything he needed to do to win this race. He qualified on pole position. He was the fastest man throughout the weekend. He was fastest in the warm-up. He dominated the race. And in the final corner, the Ferrari team pulled team orders and made this man the race winner. He might win his 5th World Championship a little earlier, but listen to that. Have you ever heard Michael Schumacher being booed before? Was he a part of this decision or merely a pawn as well? There's his brother. His face says it all. And now back in real time you see live shots on the podium. He doesn't want it.
That doesn't make up the difference to me, James. That's not the winner of the race, Michael Schumacher. Rubens should be there. He should be there on merit.
Well, Rubens was in tears last time he was on the top step. He doesn't want to be there. I'm surprised he's not in tears at the moment after the switch. The last lap, Michael Schumacher doesn't look happy. They're standing together. There's confusion on the podium and the crowd very unhappy as we hear the Italian national anthem. Well, he can push him up onto the top step of the podium, but he can't affect the result. Michael Schumacher has won this Grand Prix. He hands the trophy to Rubens. And the pictures say it all. But the history books, they'll tell a very different story.
Dr. Boris Nemcik, the general manager of Mobilcom Austria.
And a confused picture on the podium.
Second place driver, the trophy presented by Dr. Susanna Rispasa, the Vice Chancellor.
And, well, it's been a very strange afternoon.
Driver, Juan Pablo Montoya,
certainly a dominant performance by the Ferrari team. Montoya loving the chaos between the two Ferrari drivers. A wry grin from him. That's his girlfriend Connie underneath, the law student from Madrid University. The champagne begins. Rubens Barrichello is in the middle of it all. The hills around Austria should be alive to the sound of Rubinho. Instead, they're alive to the sound of boos and whistles.
Thanks to James Allen and to Mark Lundell. That shuffle on the podium, in my view, making no difference. A shallow gesture, that. Michael Schumacher, a couple of firsts for him. His first win in Austria and the first time we've ever seen him booed up there as well. The drivers' press conference is going to be very interesting indeed. We're going to get the views of Tony Jardine as well. Let me remind you as well, the nationwide First Division playoff final is coming up after this programme, live from Cardiff, Birmingham City against Norwich. I don't think that champagne is going to taste too good for Rubens. Michael Schumacher has won the Austrian Grand Prix, although it certainly is not his proudest victory. Rubens Barrichello pulling over and letting it pass in the last few metres. 10 more points to Schumacher, then first win in Austria for him. Barrichello pushed down into second place. Montoya third for Williams. Then Ralf Schumacher. First points for Jordan on a difficult day for them from Giancarlo Fisichella, and David Coulthard, last year's winner, sixth. And the Drivers' Championship, he's gone further clear. Michael Schumacher, 54 points, Juan Montoya, 27, Ralf, 23. Rubens up into double figures above David Coulthard and Jenson Button on 8 points. What do you make of that?
Well, in German, auf Deutsch, ein Spaß means a joke. And that's what I felt it was. I think it's a sporting blunder if that instruction has come through from Ferrari. I cannot believe that Rubens Barrichello moved over of his own volition, even if he's feeling grateful for a 2-year contract. We have to believe at this point that the orders came that he should move over, as he did do last year and gave away second place to Michael Schumacher. History repeating itself? Was it just to break the jinx of Michael Schumacher? But mere metres from the end. Here, Rubens Barrichello, who's dominated all weekend, who's driven superbly, heading for his second Grand Prix victory, gives it and hands it on a silver plate to Michael Schumacher, and the crowd voted with their voices there. I'm still reeling from the shock of it, I have to say.
We're going to hear from the drivers in the press conference shortly. What did you feel, though, went on between them after the race? Surely Rubens wouldn't have pulled over voluntarily. That must have been team orders.
Look at Ralph's face there.
What's occurring there?
Ralph, what is going on? I mean, this is worse for me than '98 when Coulthard pulled over and let Hakkinen go through. The Australians went away and said, fix, cheating, we were robbed, that wasn't sporting. That's all of those things again. And you've just got Michael Schumacher going from hero to villain, sure, and the Ferrari team suddenly going into, well, into dark areas.
Yeah, more from you in a moment, Tony. The press conference is going to make very, very interesting viewing. Here we go.
Rubens, how difficult was it to make the decision to move over on the last lap?
I think I had the experience actually, so it wasn't. It's not. I'm not joking on that. It's something that I've been asked to. I've said nothing, and just I think it's a team decision. I just signed a 2-year contract with them, and I thought I should have respect.
But as a racer, you must feel a twinge. You've only won one race previously. Is it very difficult?
Well, I mean, it's. I'm going through a period of a very good time in my life. I think I'm becoming a better person, a better driver, so there's no point in arguing. I think it's my determination will take me a lot more wins, so that's the way I see it. So there's no point arguing. I think it's we saw it. Michael gave me the trophy I take home today, and so I'm happy for that.
On a more positive note, it was once again a very clever strategy by Ferrari. In Brazil, we all thought you'd stop twice, you stopped once, and here, obviously, you're planning to stop twice. Once again, good work by Ross Brawn and the team.
Fantastic, and the car is working fantastically well. I mean, it's not just the car, the engine, it's also the tires. The tires are really good, and we could fight the whole race through. I mean, it's been a really good race. It's been I need to thank the whole team and my engineers, because the car felt fantastic, and I was pushing nicely. I wasn't overdriving, and the only really point that I took care was after the safety car, because the brakes and the tires were really cold, so we had to take care. The rest was really good.
Thank you, Rubens. Michael, first win in Austria completes the set of winning at all the circuits, but it's very obvious you've taken no joy from this victory.
Yeah, very obvious. As Rubens pointed out, it was a team decision last year. I sort of was involved in the situation because I felt the championship was much more tighter than it was this year. This year I didn't even think about this, and before the race I was asking, I said, I don't believe there's going to be a team strategy involved, and suddenly they told me that he would move over, and yeah, I mean, I'm not very pleased about it either. I think nobody of us is, honestly. But then we have to look what is the team's ambitions, and the team's ambitions is to win the championship, and you have to secure this, because you never know what is going to happen in the next races, and therefore Well, I have to thank Rubens because he has done a fantastic race. He has been outstanding all weekend, honestly, and this gesture, in the way we have done it, shows the sort of, how we say, work we're doing together, the belief we have in each other, and the relationship to some degree, because it's not natural what he's been doing, the way he's doing it. And I'm just thankful for him, for the points, but obviously I don't take a lot of joy from that victory.
As you say, you weren't really too keen on the decision. Who actually makes that decision? Who was the person who said that's going to happen?
In the end of the day, it comes from Ferrari itself, and there is obviously the top person of Ferrari is Mr. Montezemolo, and then it goes down to Mr. Todt and so on, who is in the end the person. I don't know, but believe me that the team is investing a lot of money for one sort of target, and imagine in the end it would be not enough by this amount of points. How stupid would we look? We have always had this philosophy. I think it is very known to everybody that this is the philosophy. It's within the sport. Some people may like it, some may don't like it. As I said today, I felt a little bit sorry as well, and I'm not really in favor of it, but then you never know what happened in the end, and I'm sure the way Rubens drove today, he has a lot of opportunities to secure victories this year, and I told him on the podium I hope that the championship is soon finished, that we can go for real racing, and I'm sure he's going to win loads of races.
Hey, Michael. Juan Pablo had a very eventful race and a very frightening incident at the end of the first safety car. Perhaps you can talk us through it.
I couldn't really see anything. The only thing, I was turning in. I was riding the inside of Sato, and as I was turning in, it's only just a car, a Sauber came backwards right in front of me. I just heard a huge bang, and I really stayed, very lucky. I was very lucky there, and that made my race as well, because my strategy was to be in the hard tires, and at the beginning of the race, we didn't have the pace we needed to.
It was noticeable that you actually didn't take any tyres at all in your pit stops. Obviously, they're a very durable brand.
Yeah, they were.
It's safe to say that the two safety cars probably did help you get past Ralph.
Yeah, that what made the race. Ralph was quite quick out of the pits as well, but I managed to get quite, a few laps in really quick right before the stop, and that was enough.
That's all. Rubens, we now go to Monaco. Pretty tricky circuit, one which you've not always enjoyed the best of luck. Are you looking forward to it?
Very much. I think it's since I've started driving the new car, everything has been bright. Obviously, I don't have a lot of points on the championship as much as I would have liked it. But Monaco is a home race for me as well, so I enjoy being there. So I'll be fighting. I don't think it did let me down. I'm up to it, and I think it's the best year of my career. So I'll just take the opportunity, and I'll be driving fast for sure.
And if we have the same situation again in the last lap, you guys are running 1-2, you ahead, will you do the same thing, let him through?
We see. It's an internal matter. It's not up to for us to talk now.
Joyless, both Ferrari drivers. I get the impression Rubens is going to go out the back and have a good cry when that's all over.
I'm pretty sure he will do, and I'm pretty sure Michael Schumacher will go downstairs and sit with Ross and sit with Jean Todt and say, what happened? Did Jean Todt go and make a call to De Montezemolo, the president of Ferrari? Is that the note that Ted was talking about at the end of a quick call to say, let Schumacher go through, he must win at all costs. But the point is, he was 21 points clear anyway, and Schumacher's already made the point, we didn't really need to do this.
Tony, we can hear from Ross Brawn now, the man who might well have made that vital call. Here he is with Ted.
Ross, Rubens had won that race, hadn't he?
Oh yes, Rubens won the race today, but in the interest of Ferrari and the Drivers' Championship, we've made the decision.
But it was fair and square, wasn't it? He beaten Michael in a fair fight.
Well, you say fair, we're told the drivers not to race each other, so how can that be a fair fight? The team controlled the race, the whole race. So, we were telling Michael not to push, we were telling Rubens not to push. We were watching everything, so you can't call that a race.
But for Ferrari, it was more important for Michael to get the 10 points.
Absolutely, yes.
Let's look back at the big accident, and Sauber saying it was driver error from Nick Heidfeld now, not dodgy brakes that caused it.
Well, the interesting point that was made, we were looking for smoke, a sign that something has seized, because that's how it looked, and that was the impact there, that potentially, as we'd seen before, and there's the car, again, Heidfeld flying across the screen. If you remember just before, when Panis had gone off and the engine had blown and then seized, how the rear wheels locked off and took him off, for the car to veer so suddenly like that suggested maybe there was a sudden steering problem. If it had been the diff locking up, or if it had been the engine locking up, or the gearbox, then it would have sent him off. But so dramatic was it, and it wasn't caused just, I don't think, by the car that locked up in front of him. And unfortunately, we appear to have had a very good end to it, i.e. Sato is okay. He was going off there by helicopter, but a very, very violent accident. And again, side impact strength of the monocoque, a new rear crash test for the cars this year proves the safety from the FIA and proves the safety of the Formula One cars yet again, that this young driver can survive.
Okay, of course, we all hope that Taku Sato is absolutely 100% fine, as it does appear. Let's get the latest from Eddie Jordan, the Jordan team boss, of course, and here he is chatting to Louise Goodman.
Eddie, you just said it yourself, what a day.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, you never have thought we were going to score points. We made a fantastic strategic change by filling and coming in and fuel. Gary and I, we discussed a bit, and we've got to make that decision. We've got to be brave, take it on the nose if we can, and it paid off. We made a very early call on that, so that was fantastic. I then spoke to the Prof Watkins about, because we were very concerned. Taku, I thought he was giving him heart resuscitation at one stage, and thankfully it was nothing more than something else. I don't know, it's just a natural routine that they go through. But the word is good. He's gone to Graz for x-rays just to make sure everything is okay. And, he's a brave boy. Hopefully he can be back racing at Monaco in the next race, but who knows what will happen.
It'll be great to see him there. Just final reflections from you, Tony. I don't know, at a time when Formula One is searching for a few friends, I'm not sure that this race has done them many favours.
No, it won't have done. I think Ferrari are under a huge red cloud at the moment, a red sporting cloud, because the people will vote as they have here, with their voices and with their sentiment. That'll be very, very unpopular move by a very, very popular, worldwide popular team.
It's astonishing to hear Michael Schumacher getting booed after winning, isn't it?
It hasn't been heard before, and he works very, very hard, on his own popularity, and he doesn't need this.
Bit of PR for them to do in the next few
so.
weeks. Thank you very much indeed, Tony. Of course, we'll have more reaction from us here in Austria just before midnight tonight in our highlights programme, and as we've said, a couple of weeks' time, let's hope Sato is there for the Monaco Grand Prix. Always a great occasion, qualifying live at 11:30 on the Saturday, the race live, build up from just after midday, and highlights at midnight. Well then, Michael Schumacher wins the race, but very few admirers. The good news, though, Takuma Sato, he's okay. Bye-bye.
If you'd like to know more about Formula One, the website address, sponsored by Toyota, is itv.com/.